What up, lads? My name is John. This is Across the Board, and today I am going to be giving my QB rankings for the top 10, really kind of cheated top 11 of the quarterbacks of the 2020 NFL Draft. So to be completely transparent, I probably watched about 30 quarterbacks tapes. I did a whole winners losers of the combine that you guys can check out those videos, and now I'm kind of going through the rankings. It's a little bit easier for me to just kind of rank the positions than rather do a top 150, top 200 or so. This is the way I'm going to do it. So I looked at about 30 quarterbacks tapes or so, 25, 30, and kind of made a top 10. So look, if you're upset, I'm sorry I didn't look up Mike Glass. All right, that's a real quarterback. All right, and that probably was tough for him because if you say Mike Glass really fast, it sounds like something else. I didn't look up Buckshot Calvert. That's also a real player. He plays for Liberty. I knew that. When I go watch Antonio Golden Gandy's tape, then I'll watch Buckshot Calvert. But I did not see Buckshot Calvert's tape. That's insane that that's a real name. I know his first name really isn't Buckshot, but that's what he's called. Anyways, so I'll break down who were my favorites from this. And my honorable mention, this is why I cheated a little bit. I had to put him in just because it's so close. At number 11, really, Jake Luton, the quarterback from Oklahoma State. I like Jake Luton. He doesn't have the biggest arm, but he can still throw the deep ball, and he's very accurate throwing the ball deep. And actually, he's probably better than maybe some intermediate throws. He's good on play action. I liked him. I didn't see anything that just wowed me, but I liked what I saw, and I wanted to put him on here. All right, so now the actual top 10. And at number 10, I have Tyler Huntley, the quarterback from Utah. I have seen nobody put Tyler Huntley on their list, and I kind of don't know why. I think that maybe and I'll get into this with other quarterbacks, that maybe there's just not this insane ceiling with Tyler Huntley that there is for some quarterbacks, but honestly, I think that he's a safe backup in the NFL, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. He can definitely struggle under pressure, but he extends plays well, he can run the ball well, and he actually has a pretty decent arm. I think if Tyler Huntley could improve on something, it's probably to look at more than just his first read. But, being under pressure and not getting after your first read, that's coachable things. I think that the stuff that's wrong with Tyler Huntley, it's very coachable. At number 9, I feel very similar with this guy to Tyler Huntley. And also, I don't see this guy in a ton of top 10s for quarterbacks. And that's Nate Stanley, the quarterback from Iowa. Nate Stanley definitely probably took a hit this year, just not being insanely productive in terms of numbers. And if you just look at his stats, you're probably not all that happy with him. He's definitely not a fast quarterback, but he's quick with adjustments. He has a good arm. He can throw the deep ball well. He had that big game in 2017 against Ohio State. That's why I have him a little bit higher, because I watched that game and I knew who he was, and I was impressed by him. He also did have Noah Fant and TJ Hockenson at that time. But I don't see that he's anything spectacular, but I do see him as a prototypical backup quarterback in the NFL. I don't hate that. All right, now we have number 8, and number 8 is Cole McDonald. Cole McDonald is a little different to the other two quarterbacks. Cole McDonald, the quarterback from Hawaii, he has a big ceiling. I think he also has a pretty low floor, or is it high floor? How exactly does that? He could be bad. He could be pretty good. I don't think that he's going to be like elite or anything, and I really have questions on if he would ever be a starter in the NFL. But he's got some things with him. All right, he's got a huge arm, not always accurate though. He's got great hair. We have to say that. I mean, shout to his hair. But he does read defenses very well, but he's got to work in that ball placement. He's a real 50-50 guy. He's going to chuck it and hope that there's somebody there. It's a Joe Flacco type mentality, and actually, now I'm thinking about it, he probably would work as a Joe Flacco type quarterback, Brock Osweiler. The Denver Broncos would probably like to have him, but maybe he should not be in a Denver Broncos system because it doesn't seem to work. There's definitely going to be a coach out there that thinks that they can make Cole McDonald into a star, and I hope they're right. Now, McDonald did work with Jordan Palmer over this offseason now for college football, and he did actually impress in the combine. And that's why I have him over guys like Nate Stanley and Tyler Huntley, because he really impressed me in the combine. So maybe with him getting some of his stuff cleaned up, he could actually be a decent quarterback. All right, now there's like a tier shift, right? There's an upper tier now, and The first guy in that upper tier of this. At number 7, Jake Fromm, quarterback, Georgia. I know that Jake Fromm is usually in a top 4 to 5 for a lot of people. I'm not as high on him just because I don't see this insane upside with him. Jake Fromm was one of my biggest losers of the NFL Combine, and there was a lot of questions on if he had a big arm and if he could improve his arm strength, and I don't think he did. I don't think it's the end of the world that you can't check the ball 50 yards, but there's definitely limitations that deal with that. I think that Jake Fromm's probably going to be needed to be in a system with a run game, and he's probably going to need some pieces around him. He's a smart quarterback, and he can actually make some quick adjustments, and he's got some footwork issues, but those can be cleaned up. I just think that I don't see Jake Fromm as a guy that I want as my starting quarterback in the NFL. At number 6, there's a reason why I have this guy over Jake Fromm, and I'll get to that in my next video where I make ideal fits for all of these guys. But at number 6, it's Jacob Eason, quarterback, Washington. I don't know why I keep saying quarterbacks. This is an entire video about quarterbacks. I don't need to reiterate that every single player in this is going to play quarterback. But Jacob Eason, he's got the big arm. He's got the play action working. He's a much better than Cole McDonald. But he throws the ball so high at times, and he can be wildly inaccurate. He's all over the place. But when he's on, I really like him. After watching his combine and just watching a few games, I didn't think I was going to like Jacob Eason at all. And look, me putting him at 6 doesn't mean that I don't want the Pittsburgh Steelers to draft him even. But I do like some of his potential. There's going to be a coach that falls in love with him. I think I know who that coach is. Wait for the next video. Now we take another tier up. And that guy is Justin Herbert, quarterback, Oregon. I feel so bad that I have just shitted on Justin Herbert for 3 years straight, 2-3 years. And I really want to like the kid. I mean, me and him are the same age. Look, I have 10% of his arm. I get it. I just feel like I don't try to be mean or anything to him. I just haven't been a fan of him. I think it's because of where he's always been talked about. When the Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, all of that draft, everyone was going, Justin Herbert's going to go number 1. If Justin Herbert comes out in this draft, he's going number 1. And I was like, I don't get it. I still would draft Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins over Justin Herbert. I got the word of Justin Herbert, right it was during the Baker Mayfield draft, and everyone had been talking about, if this Justin Herbert kid could come out, he was going to be great. And I just didn't understand it. Then this draft, it was at the beginning of the year, it was Tua versus Justin. I saw a clear discrepancy. And now it's obviously Joe, Tua, and then people are putting Justin in that. And I still think that's too high for him. He's got a big arm. He impressed me at the combine, to be fair, but he's so inaccurate and he's so 50-50. I really see him as Josh Allen. And I don't know if that's necessarily a diss to him or not, because there are some Josh Allen truthers out there. There's some Josh Allen haters out there. I'm probably more of the latter, and I don't want to be, but it's just, I don't think that type of quarterback is going to be what I want. And maybe that's just me, and I just got to live with that. And someone like Justin Herbert just isn't going to be the quarterback for me. I like him. I think that he definitely, this tier up, this is a starter in the NFL for sure. I don't think that Justin Herbert isn't going to be a starter in the NFL. I just have fear that he is going to be picked with a top 6 pick or so. And I think that is worrying if you're on a team that doesn't have a line and that needs a lot of help. If he goes to the right team in the right system, I think Justin Herbert could be awesome. I'll say that. But let's stop the Ben Roethlisberger comparisons. This is much more Josh Allen. At number 4, I'm the reverse on this guy. A lot of people don't like him. I love him. And it's Jalen Hurts, quarterback, Oklahoma. Why do I keep saying quarterback? Maybe he doesn't have the elite arm strength or just throwing the ball in the perfect window like maybe one or two of these quarterbacks. Maybe he's got some things to work on. But in terms of just a quarterback that is an absolute leader, can make some amazing throws, can run when he needs to, is a guy that's going to be a galvanizer. He's a warrior. He goes and wins the games. There's a never say die attitude with Jalen Hurts. He's what I want And a quarterback, if I'm not one of the teams I'm picking very early in the draft. At 48, where the Pittsburgh Steelers take, they got to go Jalen Hurts if he's there. I mean, like, they have to, right? I know it doesn't improve their team immediately, but this is where they should have. This is where they need to take a quarterback. They need to. I was the biggest Mason Rudolph hater when he was in the draft, and for good reason. Duck Hodges not the answer. Please, instead of going and getting Marcus Mariota or something, just draft Jalen Hurts if he's there. At number 3, this is a guy I've also loved for a long time. I've talked a lot about my criticism with Justin Herbert, and also in the reverse, I've talked about my love for Jordan Love. Jordan Love, Utah State. He has everything. I think it's weird to say that because he definitely has some stuff that's not great, and he throws so many turnover-worthy balls. He is a guy that probably makes the PFF guys just rip their hair out because he is so good at times. And watch that. I keep going up to that LSU game where he has some passes that are like, yeah, you can't even teach that. And then he has some passes, but then again, he had a terrible team, and he just had to chuck the ball. Like, you got to take away some of those interceptions for him, seriously. But some of those passes that he makes is just unquestionably there's going to be a coach in there, and I would be that coach that just wants to get him in, sit him for a year, have him learn, because there's going to be the Pat Mahomes comparison. I've done it myself, and I was the guy that championed Pat Mahomes coming out of the draft. He was literally my number 1 player going into that draft. Look, I had Jabril Peppers in like my top 5, so I'm not always, right? Is TJ in that draft? I think TJ may have been in that draft, and I also had him. I was not a fan of TJ, so what do I know, right? But I was right on Pat. I love Pat. And Jordan Love has a little bit of him. I'm not putting that Pat Mahomes label on him. I'm not going to do it because, 1, that's the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and 2, I don't think that he is Pat. But, like, look at what PFF has said about Pat Mahomes when he was going into the draft. It was, he's got a great arm. He's got the intangibles. He can throw some ridiculous throws, but he throws so many turnover-worthy throws. And it's because he played at Texas Tech, and they just threw the ball a ton. So you were bound, sample size. If you're throwing 50 times a game, you're probably gonna throw more interceptions. I don't think that he's that, but like if he's Pat Mahomes light, that's not a diss, right? That's a good thing. I will take Pat Mahomes light any day of the week. At number 2, it's Tua Tagovailoa, and it really hurts to say Tua Tagovailoa at number 2. Obviously, Tua from Alabama. It's really 1A, 1B, because Tua has one thing with him that's wrong. It's injury history. That's it. I think that Tua makes every throw. He doesn't have the cannon of a Justin Herbert or a Jordan Love, and that's okay. There's a lot of comparisons to Drew Brees. I was one of the people that said Drew Brees very early on. I completely agree with that. Like, I think that the media is kind of getting it right with Tua, and as long as he's healthy, you don't know if these guys are going to be injured or not. Like, Jordan Love could come in, or Justin Herbert could come in, and they could break their legs in the first day of training camp. Obviously, please don't let that happen. That would suck. I don't want that to happen to anyone, but you don't know. Obviously, there's more concern with Tua, but I'm taking him in the top 5 without even questioning it personally. Okay? He makes every throw. He looks like he is going to be a future. I said for a few players last year, like Nick Bosa, that I thought that they were going to be Hall of Fame players. As long as they stay healthy, I'm ready to put that label on Tua as well. And number 1, it's that man Joey Burrow. How is it not Joe Burrow? Look, I can see the people that think that Tua Tagovailoa is actually a better prospect than Joe Burrow, but I have to be honest with myself. Joe Burrow had one of the most incredible college football seasons of all time, and I have to reward him for that. Now, when I made that Steelers video earlier in the year, it was very early on in the college football season, I said, I don't know if I want Joe Burrow. He's probably a project, I didn't know that he was going to go on and have this insane season. So now that he has, I have to be honest with myself and say, okay, yep, didn't see that coming, but I'm also not going to kill him because I wasn't on him first. He made everything. He did everything. Like, the passes that he made in you want to talk about the Oklahoma game? He wasn't just making passes because the guys were, 10 yards with separation. The wide receivers didn't get 10 yards of separation all the time. He had to make some tight throws. He had to make the over the shoulder to the end zone, but he made every throw. Like, Joe Burrow did not need a combine because he did everything on the big stage. Like, I remember the first game being Florida that I was like, all right, let's see if this kid's got it. And he obliterated, and he had perfect passes. I think that the only criticism that you can give to Joe Burrow is that this has been going on for one season, and he has to duplicate it. Now he has to duplicate it in the NFL. But other than that, I just don't see a criticism with Joe Burrow right now. All right, guys, that is it. I'm done. Done with the QB rankings. I'll do an ideal fit, and then other than just like mock drafts, I'm done for a while talking about quarterbacks. I'll be giving more rankings, running backs, wide receivers, offensive linemen, defense, all of that. I don't know which position I'll do next, so how about you comment down below and say which position I should do next. Talk about that position, because I'm sorry if I didn't check out Buckshot, Calver, Mike Glass, and some other quarterbacks. And maybe I missed one. So comment down below who I missed. Comment down below why I'm way too high on Jordan Love, or way too high on Jalen Hurts, or way too low on Justin Herbert, or why I don't have Jordan Morgan in there. I think that was James Morgan. I think that was who I watched. So yeah, who did I miss? Who am I stupid? Why am I stupid? There you go. Tell me why I'm stupid. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back in the next one. Deuce.